Hey, how y'all doing out there? Back at you again with another video. Today I'd like to do a quick comparison between the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro 5G versus the OnePlus 7T Pro. Now both of these phones are great devices. I love them both. OnePlus 7T and the Mi 10 Pro 5G. I love them. I mean, these are just great devices. But if you're in the market for a new smartphone, you may be wondering, well, which one of these is better from the two? Now, the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro was released, of course, this year, and the OnePlus 7T Pro was released at the end of last year, 2019. Okay, so there is a difference as far as, the Xiaomi is a newer device, not much newer, maybe, I don't know, maybe a 6-month difference between the two, but that's pretty much it. And they're kind of similar in certain ways, and, you'll see that as I go through this comparison. So sit back, relax. Hope you enjoy this quick comparison between the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro and the OnePlus 7T Pro. And the OnePlus 7T Pro, yes, that's correct. So both are calling themselves Pro, quote unquote, devices. Now, I have an issue with devices using Pro. Plus is not that bad, because it just means maybe larger. But when you start getting into Pro, you start getting into Ultra, I expect you to live up to that title. Now, I'm not saying either one of these phones are not a beast of a device, because they are. But to me, in order to be Pro, you got to give me everything, honestly. And both of these devices are missing things that they should have, especially having that name Pro at the end of the device. So let's get into it. Now, the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro, the price, you can get a 12 gig of RAM and 512 gigs of internal storage for $839, which I think is a steal, especially for what you get for that phone. Now, you want to look at my review for that phone. You can look at that and see all the specs and everything that it gives you. Of course, I'm going to be going over some things here, but not every single thing. All right. Next thing, you can get a 12 gig of RAM, 256 gigs of internal memory for $779. And also you can get an 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of internal storage for $729. So there's no 128 gig variant. You're either going to get 256 gigs or 512. And I'm very impressed with that. That's the way I think the OnePlus should be, but they're not. So with Xiaomi, they at least give you a 512 gig variant, and you could get it for less than $850. So think about that. Next thing, the OnePlus 7T Pro, I've seen it brand new for $639 on eBay, and also $662 and $655. So there's 3 different types of prices. You can go on eBay and check that out. Now, the only thing that's very different from the OnePlus 7T Pro and the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro is that there's only one variant of the OnePlus 7T Pro. Now, I know the OnePlus 7 Pro has different variants. They have an 8 gig and they have a 12 gig model. And I think 128, 256, and 512, I believe. Now, I could be wrong with that, but I know they got more than just one variant of that device. But with the OnePlus 7T Pro, you only get one variant. That's 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of internal memory. That's it. Now, I think that's unfortunate. They should have a 12 gig 256 and a 12 gig 512, but they don't. Okay, now I'm talking about the OnePlus 7T Pro. It's just a slightly different than the OnePlus 7 Pro. But with the OnePlus 7T Pro, you only have one variant. All right, next thing. The Mi 10 Pro has a 6.67-inch 1080p Full HD Plus Super AMOLED display with one punch hole camera cutout in the left side of the device. Now, I'm just going to let you know right now, and for those that have watched the other 2 videos that I did on the Xiaomi, the display on this phone is absolutely beautiful. I mean, that Super AMOLED, and it doesn't even matter that it's 1080p Full HD Plus, because I'm just being honest, based on what my eyes see, it looks like a Quad HD display. At least on this device, it definitely looks like a Quad HD display. That's how good it looks. It's phenomenal. I love it. And it gets nice and bright. 500 nits of brightness on this device. Now, one thing I want to add, now the Mi 10 Pro is a more narrow device than the OnePlus 7T Pro. And when I, turn the phones over, I'll let you see that. Maybe you might be able to see even this direction. Now, if you really look, you can see the OnePlus is just a little bit wider. This is a little bit more narrow of a device. The OnePlus is a little wider. And I do prefer the width of the OnePlus 7T Pro over the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. I do, because I prefer, a wider device means more display. So I would rather take a wider device. Now, they're both exactly the same height. So I just wish the Xiaomi was just a tad bit wider. I just wish it was the same width as the OnePlus 7T Pro, but it isn't. Now, the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro does have a waterfall display. Basically, that means it's a curved edge display. It's, heavily curved, and so is the OnePlus 7T Pro. But I will say this, the palm rejection and accidental touches on the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro is very, very good. I very seldom get accidental touches handling that device. Now, that's just my experience. Somebody else may say, well, my experience is bad. It's constantly, activating things when I'm grabbing or holding the phone a certain way. That hasn't been my experience. The palm rejection on the phone is excellent. As far as the OnePlus 7T Pro, not so much. The palm rejection is not that good. It just isn't. And it also has a waterfall display. Okay, both the displays are curved. All right, now let's talk about quickly the OnePlus 7T Pro display. You got a Quad HD AMOLED fluid display. No selfie camera in the display. It has a pop-up selfie camera. It's all screen, so no interruptions on the screen at all. You're getting all display. So that's a big advantage to me for the OnePlus 7T Pro, that you have no cutout, no notch, no nothing, just all display. Love that. Now keep in mind, I wanted to and I'll get to that in a minute, sorry. So it's all screen. The OnePlus does have a wider display, and it also has the waterfall display, which I just talked about, and the palm rejection is just not that great. It could be a lot better. So maybe that's something OnePlus can fix and remedy with a software update, hopefully. All right, next thing, the Mi 10 Pro has a 90 Hertz display. Okay, the display is smooth and it is fast. Okay, so the 90 Hertz display is on the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. Next, the OnePlus 7T Pro 90 Hertz display also has a 90 Hertz refresh rate on it. It is smooth and it's more fluid, and the scrolling is blazing fast. Now, you may say, okay, well, both devices have 90 Hertz refresh rates. Which one is better? There's no doubt at all that the OnePlus 90 Hertz is just different. I don't know what it is, but it's just something different about the 90 Hertz refresh rate on the OnePlus over the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. It's much smoother. Maybe that's why they call it a fluid display, because I'm telling you right now, it lives up to that word, fluid. It's fluid, it's super buttery smooth, and the scrolling is ridiculous. I've never scrolled fast on any device more than the OnePlus 7T Pro. The scrolling on this phone is absolutely ridiculous. Now I want to show you real quick. Maybe you'll be able to tell, maybe you won't, I don't know, but I at least want to give you an idea what I'm talking about. So I'm on my page. Let me turn the brightness down. I always have everything at max brightness. Okay, so this is my YouTube page. So I'm gonna start scrolling, and I'm not gonna use that much effort. Do y'all see how fast this thing is moving? I'm barely touching it. I mean, it's just stupid. It's just ridiculous. Okay, that's. I mean, if I can't really demonstrate it adequately on this, I'm sorry. I mean, you just have to get the phone in your hand and try it yourself. Now, let me do it on the Xiaomi. Okay, now my fingerprint sensor's acting a little funny. I'll go to my website. I mean, not my website, my YouTube channel. All right. Do the same thing. It's fast, but it's not as fast. And I gotta work a little harder with my thumb to make like the touch, I guess the touch sensitivity of the display on the OnePlus is better also. Because I gotta work a lot harder to do this, and it's not moving nowhere near as fast as the OnePlus. It just doesn't. So the OnePlus has a better display with the 90 hertz than the Mi 10 Pro. The OnePlus is a boss when it comes to that 90 hertz refresh rate. It's just better overall. It's smoother and it's faster, and the touch sensitivity of the screen is much better. All right. And I just want to say really quick, the software experience on the OnePlus is the best software experience I've ever had on any device that I've ever owned. Even over the Note 10 Plus, even over the Pixel, even over the iPhone. Now, iPhone is right there. I would say OnePlus 1A, and then iPhone 11 Pro Max 1B, as far as buttery smoothness and speed. That's just my opinion. That's my experience. You know, you could disagree with it, and that's fine. But I'm telling you, I've never used a phone that was so fast, like an Android phone that was so fast and super buttery smooth. I've never experienced anything like that till I got this OnePlus 7T Pro. This phone is an absolute monster. And if you've never ever used a OnePlus device, you may want to check it out, honestly. I mean, a lot of people sleep on OnePlus because they don't advertise in this country. So a lot of people are just not really familiar with OnePlus. But I'm telling you right now, this is a heck of a device. They make some great devices. They really do. Now, the camera wasn't always that great, but they've come a long way even with the camera. But just based on performance, now which one of these phones are going to give you the best performance? Hands down is the OnePlus 7T Pro. Hands down. Not that you're going to get a bad experience, or, you know, yeah, you're not going to get a bad experience performance-wise with the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro, but you're going to get a better performance with the OnePlus 7T Pro. All right, next, let's look at build quality. Now, the Mi 10 Pro has Gorilla Glass 5 with an aluminum frame, and also the OnePlus 7T Pro also has Gorilla Glass 5 with an aluminum frame. So the Gorilla Glass is on the same level, and both of them also have a matte finish on the back. Now, I love both. The matte finish on both is great, but they're both slippery, so that's why I have cases on both. Now, the OnePlus 7T Pro is probably a little more slippery than the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro, but they both are slippery. And also keep in mind that the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro also is a little thicker than the OnePlus 7T Pro, so keep that in mind. So for some people that don't want a thicker phone, you may want to go with the OnePlus 7T Pro. But for me, I prefer a device that's a little thicker, and it makes it a little easier to hold, and it's a little more comfortable in the hand. Now, which one do I think is more comfortable in the hand without a case? In my opinion, based on my experience, the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro is much more comfortable in the hand. It's a little more rounded off, and it has that nice thickness to it that I said that I like. But as far as the width of the phone, I like the OnePlus 7T Pro better. But the one that feels the most comfortable in the hand would be the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. Next thing, Mi 10 Pro has HDR10 Plus. The OnePlus 7T Pro also has HDR10 Plus, so it's even on that. And I already talked about the software, but I'm going to talk about just a little bit of it, a little bit more about it. The Mi 10 Pro has Android 10. It's going to get 2 more updates, and also it's very customizable with many features. The OnePlus 7T Pro also has Android 10. It's going to get a few more updates, but it's using Oxygen OS 10.4 on top of Android 10. It's very customizable with a good amount of features. Now, which one is going to give you the most features? That's going to be the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. You're going to get more features and more customization on this device than you do the OnePlus 7T Pro. Now, I know for some of you out there, you could care less. You don't, need a phone with tons and tons of features and all that. But for those that are into features like myself, and I like to be able to change this, change that, just to be able to have a lot of fun with my device. I like a device that has a lot of functionality to it, and that I could just do whatever I want with it. That's what I like. Now, for people that's more streamlined, they want a phone that's a little more simple, and only thing they're really focused on more than anything is performance, then you want the OnePlus 7T Pro. So if it's all about features, you want the Xiaomi. If it's just about performance and you want it more streamlined, you want the OnePlus 7T Pro. And Oxygen OS is my second favorite skin after Samsung's One UI. That skin is unbelievable, and how they optimize the software is just fabulous. I love it. Next thing, the Mi 10 Pro has Snapdragon 865, and the OnePlus 7T Pro has the Snapdragon 855 Plus. But I'm gonna tell you right now, when it comes to just speed, I don't care that the Xiaomi has an 865 processor, that the processor is newer than the OnePlus 7T Pro 855 Plus processor. The OnePlus 7T Pro runs faster than the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. It's just a fact. How do I know that? Because I have both devices. I use both devices. The OnePlus 7T Pro is faster. So it doesn't always matter about numbers. It's about performance and real world usage. Next thing, the Mi 10 Pro has 512 gigs of internal storage. The OnePlus 7T Pro only has 256 gigs of internal storage. OnePlus has no 512 gig variant for this particular model. So that's going to be an edge to the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. Next thing, the Mi 10 Pro has 12 gigs of RAM. The OnePlus 7T Pro only has 8 gigs of RAM. No 12 gig variant. Now, I'm just talking about the 7T. Now, I'm sure the OnePlus 7 Pro does have a 12 gig variant, but not the 7T Pro. So, advantage to the Mi 10 Pro when it comes to RAM. Now, you may say, well, which one has the better RAM management? I would probably have to say the OnePlus 7T Pro RAM management is a little better, because I've been having some issues with the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro RAM management, even though it has 12 gigs of RAM. So hopefully that's something they can rectify with a software update. Alright, the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro Face Unlock is extremely fast and consistent. And I'm telling you, a lot of times there's no lock screen. It just opens up immediately, and I like that. Okay, the OnePlus 7T Pro also has Face Unlock, but you have the pop-up selfie camera, which is nice and fast. Now I'll show you the difference between the two, because I know some people want to say, well, show us. So I'm gonna use the Lift Awake, which is what I use all the time. You see that? You didn't even see the lock screen. I mean, it's just crazy fast. Okay, so this is definitely, let me turn the brightness down, sorry about that. This is clearly the fastest face unlock that I've ever used on any device, no doubt about it. Now for the OnePlus, the difference with this, you do have raised awake, but it does not activate the face unlock, which I do not like at all. Okay, you lift awake, all you're gonna get is the time and all that, and the fingerprint sensor, which goes out pretty quick. You literally either has to double tap to make the face unlock go, or you got to press the power button. And as you can see now, I hope y'all can see the camera coming up at the top there. And it's pretty quick now for a pop-up selfie camera. That's pretty impressive. And it's nice and smooth. You can't even hear it. It's pretty quiet. So I'm impressed with both, but there's no question that the Xiaomi is better. It's faster now. To be a pop-up camera, that's the fastest pop-up camera I've ever used on a device as far as OnePlus. Now, the reason why I like Xiaomi better, first of all, it's faster. You can raise the wake and get right into your phone, and that's the reason why I like it. It's more. I can't say it's more accurate. I would say on the level of accuracy, they're both adequately accurate. They're both like 99% accurate. So there's no issue. I don't have an issue with accuracy on both, but as far as speed, Xiaomi's faster, and also you can just lift the wake and it'll get right into your phone, as opposed to OnePlus. You got to double tap the screen, or you got to hit the power button to activate the face unlock, and I don't like that. All right, next thing. Mi 10 Pro has an in-display optical fingerprint sensor. It's fast, it has nice animation and haptic feedback. The OnePlus 7T Pro also has an in-display optical fingerprint sensor. It is also very fast with nice animation and haptic feedback. And and you may ask me, which one is better? Now, this is not a hard question for me. Now, both are very, very good. Both are fast, but which one is just a better overall fingerprint sensor? It's going to be the OnePlus 7T Pro. It's just better. It's 100% accurate. It's fast and it's nice and smooth. You get nice haptic feedback. You get an animation. But as far as just the animation, I like the animation on the Xiaomi a little bit better. It's just, it really, really, it's just, I just love it. And that haptic feedback, you know, you get a nice vibration with it. I just like the way it looks. Now, it's not better or faster, but I just like the way it looks. The animation is just so wild. Like, let me show you a little closer. I just love that. I really do. Okay? So, I like it a lot. I don't like it better. I like the animation better, but OnePlus is just the slightest little tap. Only thing I hate about this is that you gotta tap the screen, and you just lightly touch it and it pops right open, like no delay at all. It's just double tapping the screen is annoying. That's the only thing I hate about it. Or I mean, you could raise the weight and then touch it and it pops right open. This is faster. It's more accurate, but I like both. But if I had to choose between the two, I would have to take OnePlus. OnePlus makes the best in-display fingerprint sensor on the market. Samsung's not even in their neighborhood at all. Not even close. Next thing, the Mi 10 Pro has an IR blaster, which is basically a universal remote control. Let me show you what that is really quick. Basically, you see here, it says bedroom, the name of my television. You just hit that and you have a universal remote control. Basically, you can control your TV, your air conditioner, your stereo, anything that has an infrared sensor. You can control the volume, the power, the menu, mute, powering on, powering off, all that with the IR blaster. The OnePlus does not have that on their phone, neither have they ever had that feature on their devices. So kudos to Xiaomi for that. Mi 10 Pro has a 4,500 milliamp battery with 50-watt super fast charging. And I'm going to tell you right now, the charging speeds on the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro blows OnePlus out of the water. Now, I'm not saying blow them out of the water like, okay, maybe I shouldn't say blow them out of the water, but it's considerably faster. Because you can go from 0 to 100% in 45 minutes with the Xiaomi. Okay? 0 to 100% in 45 minutes and 0 to 70% in 20 minutes. Now, with the OnePlus, of course, you have 30-watt warp charging. Also, you have a 4,080 milliamp battery. So the Xiaomi battery is actually bigger and it charges faster. Okay, you got warp charging, and it'll get you, let me see, from 0 to 100 in 70 minutes, and 0 to, I say, 60% in 30 minutes. So it's not slow by any means, but the Xiaomi is just on a whole nother level when it comes to charging speeds. Okay. Next thing, Mi 10 Pro has 30 watt fast wireless charging. And basically, y'all listen to this, from 0 to 100% in 65 minutes and 0 to 55% in 30 minutes. That's with wireless charging. But it's 30 watt wireless charging. Unfortunately, the OnePlus 7T Pro has no wireless charging at all. And if that matters to you, you want the Xiaomi. If wireless charging don't matter to you and you could care less, then you go with the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. Next thing, the OnePlus, the Mi 10 Pro has 10-watt reverse wireless charging. 10-watt reverse wireless charging. The OnePlus 17 Pro does not have reverse wireless charging. Now, for even the people that have this function, most times you're not going to use it, but it's good to know that you can if you do have the feature. Say, you got a phone with reverse wireless charging, you're out with dinner with somebody, you're just out with somebody that forgot their cord, you're not near a power bank, you're not near where you could charge a phone and their phone is about to die and they're waiting for an important call, or they need to stay in contact with their loved ones. All you got to do is activate reverse wireless charging, put their phone, which has to be wireless charging and capable, put it on the back of your phone and give them some charge. Now, it's not the fastest charging in the world, but it will give them some charge and keep their phone from powering off. So that's a good thing to have. And also, you can charge your smartwatch and also your wireless earbuds having reverse wireless charge. So you may not use it a lot, but it could come in handy in an emergency type of situation. You just never know. The OnePlus 17 Pro does not have that capability. Next thing, the Mi 10 Pro has dual stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos. Excellent sound quality. These are the best sounding speakers I've ever heard on any smartphone. Now, they're not the loudest, but just far as the quality, the fullness, the stereo sound, the best I've ever heard. OnePlus 17 Pro also has dual stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos. Also has very good sound quality, but it's not even in the same neighborhood as the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. Not even in the same neighborhood. And what makes Xiaomi's a little bit better too, you got a speaker at the bottom and a speaker at the top, and the earpiece is separate from the dual stereo speakers. With the OnePlus, the earpiece does the highs and the mids, and then you have the bottom speaker that does the lows. It's not a separate separate speaker system from the earpiece. The earpiece is included with the sound. But with the Xiaomi, you're getting two separate speakers that give you equal distribution of sound, and then you have the earpiece that's set aside by itself. All right, so winner to that easily is the Xiaomi. I mean, just superior stereo sounds, just awesome. It'll blow you away. Next thing, Mi 10 Pro, no headphone jack, but through the USB Type-C port, you're going to get great audio sound. I mean, superior audio sound with the Mi 10 Pro. I mean, that audio sound through the headphone jack blows me away. I mean, it's just as good to me as the LG's 32-bit hi-fi quad DAC. That's how good it is, in my opinion. Some people may disagree with that, but in my opinion, it's on the same level as the LG's quad DAC. Now, with the OnePlus, they also have no headphone jack, and the audio quality is good, but it's not great. It's nothing to write home about. So, advantage definitely to Xiaomi when it comes to audio sound quality. It's just far superior to that of the OnePlus 17 Pro. Next thing, Mi 10 Pro has Wi-Fi 6. The OnePlus 17 Pro still has Wi-Fi 5. Next thing, the Mi 10 Pro has Bluetooth 5.1. The OnePlus 17 Pro has 5.0. Next thing, the Mi 10 Pro has NFC. The OnePlus 17 Pro has NFC. Next thing, the Mi 10 Pro has an always-on display. The OnePlus 17 Pro does not have an always-on display at all. And that's something, and that's an issue I've always had with OnePlus, no always-on display. Now, I know for some of you, you could care less about having an always-on display, but I do. I want to see the time when my phone is out of my pocket and I'm laying it down on a surface. Even if I have a watch on, I just like to look over, see the time, see my battery percentage, see my notifications. I want to see that, okay? That's just me. Now, some people don't care about that. Now, I'm hearing that OnePlus is going to implement an always-on display with some kind of software update, and that'll be good because that's something that that phone really needs, in my opinion. And I like the fact that the Xiaomi has that, okay? I love that. I need an always-on display. No always-on display for the OnePlus. And for those of you that could care less, All right, that's cool. That's what makes us all different, right? All right, next, Mi 10 Pro has screen recording. The OnePlus 7T Pro also has screen recording. Next thing, the Mi 10 Pro has one clear texture case in the box. The OnePlus 7T Pro also has one clear case in the box. Now, before, I think when I got the OnePlus 7 Pro last year, it did not come with a case in the box, and I was very perturbed about that, because especially when you're paying, anywhere upwards from $500 and up, and even, even less than that, it's just one clear case. I mean, I'm sure the case probably cost them like 99 cents or $3 at most. I mean, why can't you just give us one case? So kudos to both companies that give you one case in the box. I appreciate that. Next thing, the Mi 10 Pro has a one-handed mode. Now I'll show you what that is real quick for those of you that may not know what that is. Basically, you can make your screen smaller. See? And you can still have full functionality of the entire display. Okay, also when you hit this, you can change the size. So you got one size there, at 4.5, 4.0, and 3.5. So you can make it either bigger or smaller. I like that that option. So you do have that functionality here. Now it's not easily implemented. Sometimes I have trouble getting it. Sorry about that, y'all. Sometimes I have trouble getting it to slide down like that. But once you do, the screen being big should not have an issue, because you'll be able to navigate the whole entire screen. And then when you're done, you just hit that black space and it goes back to normal. OnePlus, that's something they really should implement on their phone, because their phones are big, especially they're very tall. So to have a one-handed mode would be very, very useful, but they just don't, which is unfortunate to me. All right, so that's a leg up on the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. Next thing, the Mi 10 Pro has 4 cameras on the rear, and you're going to get excellent picture and video quality out of the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. I'm telling you. And if you want to check those photos and videos out, just check out my review for the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro 5G. Takes excellent pictures, vibrant, bright, sharp. Like, I'm not heavily into photography like that, but great dynamic range, all those things that I be hearing other people talk about when it comes to photography. I like the cameras a lot. I don't have any issues with the cameras at all, like none. Now it's missing some functionality in certain ways, like there's no 4K at 60 frames per second on the front facing camera. There's no 60 frames per second at 1080p with the front facing camera. There's no super slow motion. There's no food mode. There's no pro video mode. So they're missing a few things that I do have on my Samsung. But that doesn't take away from just the excellent photo quality and video quality that you get out of this device. It's great, and I love it. With the OnePlus 7T Pro, you have 3 cameras on the rear. Very good photos and videos also. Okay? Now, but if I would compare the two, which one I think take the best photos and videos, I would have to say the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. I just think the photos and the photos and the video quality on that device is just better than the OnePlus 7T Pro. Now, OnePlus, like I said before, they've come a long way with their cameras. They have made vast improvements to their cameras over the years. So they definitely are getting closer and closer to being like up there with the big boys. Now they may be with the 8 Pro. Now I don't have the 8 Pro, and I haven't tested that camera, so I couldn't tell you if it's flagship level. Now there's some that's saying it is. There's just some saying it's maybe just a tad a bit under that. It just depends. Now I have to get my hands on that phone and test it. Then I'll let you guys know if it's if they finally got to a flagship level yet. But I do like the cameras on the OnePlus 7T Pro. They're not bad, but they're just not as good as the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro's cameras and video quality. So I like them better. So that's my review. Not review, but my comparison between the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro and the OnePlus 7T Pro. Both saying they're pros, but like I said, You have the Xiaomi that's missing a headphone jack. You know, no Quad HD display, but that's not the biggest deal. No IP68 water and dust resistance, which is something I forgot to mention. Neither one has IP68 water and dust resistant, and neither one of these have expandable memory, which matters to me. Now, you're going to call yourself a pro model. I expect to have those things on my device. I want IP rating, I want expandable memory, and I want a headphone jack. Okay. Now, of course, the OnePlus 7T Pro is missing more than that. They don't even have any wireless charging. And for me, that's important because I use wireless charging every day. But I do love both devices. When it comes to performance, I'll say it again, the OnePlus 7T Pro is superior to the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro when it comes to performance. But if I had to pick a device overall that I want every day in my pocket, it would have to be the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro because it has way more features and it has more of the things that I want on my device. Let me tell you what they are. You're getting better sound through the speakers. You're getting better audio sound through the USB Type-C port. You're getting more internal storage. You're getting more RAM. You're getting a bigger battery. Okay, you're getting an IR blaster. You're getting a brighter display. Okay, you're getting wireless charging, which is 30-watt fast wireless charging. You're getting 50-watt wired charging. So, and this is just some of the thing. Now, I could name more. You're getting better cameras. So, now, and I forgot to mention this. I'm sorry. I apologize. Which one gives you the best battery life? Now, that's hard, but I would have to say the OnePlus 7T Pro's battery life is just better. The way they optimize the battery on their devices is just it's otherworldly. It's phenomenal, honestly. I've been on this same charge now for a couple of days, and I'm only at, what's that, 50, I think 58%. I mean, seriously, and I'm getting notifications. I use it, you know, I got it maxed out at 100% brightness. But this thing barely uses battery, especially if you don't use it. It just don't use battery. It just don't. The Xiaomi, you're going to still get great battery life out of this device as well. Light usage, you're going to get 2 days easily. Medium to heavy, you get a day and a half. Heavy, you're going to get a full day. But I would say up to like 20 to 21 hours, depending on how you're using the phone. Now, if you're shooting a lot of 4K and 8K video, you're going to kill the battery a lot quicker. But I'm always running 90 hertz on the OnePlus all the time, and I'm running 90 hertz all the time on the Xiaomi. But you're going to get better battery life with the OnePlus 7T Pro. So it's going to come down to one thing. If it's just about performance and simplicity, go with the OnePlus 7T Pro. If it's about having everything and you're still getting a great performance, but if it's about having everything, go with the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. So that's my comparison. I would pick the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro, but that's not an easy choice because I absolutely love the OnePlus 7T Pro because that performance is just unbelievable how fast and buttery smooth the performance on this device is. And the fact that it has no notch, no cutout, no nothing, just all screen. And I like the pop-up selfie camera on it. So thanks again for taking the time to view this content. I do appreciate you. I have more comparisons to come, and I hope everyone is staying safe out there. God bless and peace.